What's going on, everyone? So yesterday, the Lakers officially signed Christian Koloko to a deal. Now, time of recording this video, we don't know exactly whether it's a two-way, whether the Lakers are about to pull off a trade and end up signing him free agency. But per Trevor Lane, he says that it's going to be on a two-way contract and that they are going to waive one of our two-way guys, not Colin Castleton. So, a couple things about this. Now, one, right, if he's going to sign a two-way, obviously to me, that means Christian Koloko really wants to be on the Lakers because supposedly other teams were interested in him that may have even given him a roster spot. So, is this kind of him gambling on himself? Or is there, are the Lakers waiting? Like, why didn't the Lakers just sign him to a two-way and immediately get this over with, right? Why didn't they just do this, get it done, and everything get finalized? Now it's been, a day, and yet nothing about two-way. Could the Lakers kind of be doing their due diligence, right? Trying to see if, hey, maybe we can get a trade done so we don't have to get rid of any of our two-way guys and then actually bring Koloko on the roster. Because also the original reports from Shams said that the Lakers, that he was going to get a real opportunity and potentially play some significant minutes in the front court. Well, if he's on a two-way contract, he can only play like 52 games, which, that's more than half the season, especially when Christian Wood comes back. Do they prioritize him? But here's the thing, what if Koloko's really good for us, right? Now, look, Koloko is a real risk, without a doubt, right? He hasn't played in a year and a half. He's coming off of blood clots, which is not good. Usually means that your career's done. They were able to have some breakthroughs, and I love it, right? I love to see people kind of defy the odds and figure it out, right? Love that. I do think that he has the potential to be a real piece for us down the line. I'm not really super expecting him to do anything major this season. Could he have a game, or a moment here and there? Sure, of course, right? And I'm not saying that I don't think he'll have an impact at all. I don't think he's going to be some 10-10 with 3 blocks a game guy. Right, I think he'll probably play, 10 to 15 minutes a game, if that. He'll probably give you, maybe 6 and 4 or something like that, with a block and a half a game, something like that, right? I don't see him getting 30 minutes a game, and he's out there double machine, just blocking everything that's in the space, right? But there is questions of if he does go to a two-way, and he is really good. Not even great, not even elite, right? Just wow, he's better than Hayes. He's our only real shot blocking big, not named Anthony Davis, right? So how does that work out? How do we play him? Oh, now we got the playoffs, right? Now, obviously, a trade come on later on down the line. Maybe you sign him to a regular contract, right? There's ways, but just kind of worth asking. However, the 3 two-way guys, if you're going to bring in Koloko, you have to get rid of Colin Castleton, in my opinion, right? And I like Castleton a lot. I think he's incredibly skilled as a big man. But clearly the Lakers value him over Castleton, Koloko over Castleton. Because if you didn't, why wouldn't you be focusing on getting Castleton minutes? Why wouldn't you have Castleton playing some backup? If you were ever going to give him an opportunity, now's the time. Lakers are thin in the front court. Anthony Davis wants to spend more time at the 4. How long is it going to be before Castleton gets an opportunity? You've been developing the guy for 3 years. Now, look, he plays incredibly soft. He has an array of skill sets. He can make plays out of the post. He's shown the ability to stretch the floor, right? Knock down a little elbow, right? Back to the basket, can make some plays, right? His playmaking is probably what's most impressive about him. He just surveys the court so well. He's not Jokic level, but he's very good. And a guy that you could run your offense through at times, right? Kind of dump it down to him and let him make decisions out of the post. But he does play more like he's 5'11" at times than 6'11". But how do you get him to get over that unless you throw him into the deep end and he sinks or swims? Throw him to the wolves. He's either getting eaten or he's going to survive, right? Figure it out. You're either going to get bodied and embarrassed, which maybe you need that a couple times to really man up, or he's just not going to figure it out. And then it's like, okay, well, clearly he's not ready, right? So it's time to go a different direction. He's not 21, 22, right? He's what, 24? And some people might think like, well, 24 and 22, that's only 2 year difference. You got to look at NBA years like dog years, right? Like 2 years might as well be 7, right? Like, or 8. Because, I mean, the average career in the NBA, I believe, is like 2 years, right? That 2 years is a huge difference, right? If he was 21, 22, not just that, but what are you going to do? You're going to develop him another, year or two? And then now he's 25, 26. It's probably going to take him a year or two to really kind of get into the NBA grasp and understanding, kind of get a feel for the pace and the physicality and all that stuff. Very rarely do you see big men just come in and immediately dominate, right? Like, you got to imagine it's probably going to take him a year or two. So now you're talking he's 27, 28, and now you're hoping like, I don't know how I feel about it. You either think Koloko fits a better skill set that you need, or Colin Castleton. Now the Lakers could waive Blake Hinson, but Blake Hinson, especially if you're looking to trade Rui Hachimura, which the Lakers supposedly are, right? Like he's the closest thing you got right now. Now obviously I would take Rui all day, including Sunday, but the 6'8" physical, just sharpshooter that you could slide in at the 4 and play some 4 minutes, right? On occasion, play the 3. I mean, it's not like Rui's this like lockdown defensive 3, right? Like he's a huge liability. Blake Hinson can't be much worse than him, but again, much like Rui, I think Blake Hinson is more of a 4 with his size, kind of help with the rebounding, but more so just be that stretch 4 for you that can knock down the 3. You can kind of slot him in different areas. He kind of be just that bully ball guy, kind of like that fullback almost that's just powering through guys. I don't want to see Blake Hinson go, right? He has a skill set, a specific skill set that the Lakers desperately need, right? And he's a piece that you may end up needing as soon as next season. This season, I don't see him getting much run. I don't see him getting much burn, but next season, you might need him, especially if you're planning on making some moves and LeBron's willing to take a discount and you're going to let guys go and you're going to have to kind of restructure this roster, and you got several free agents that make a lot of sense for the Lakers next year. You might look up and go, man, we need some cheap, pieces. You let Blake Hinson go, it's like, well, there that goes, right? Armel Traore, you cannot, in my opinion, let him go. You cannot. He might be our best young talent. Seriously. Talking over Jalen Trufino, I'm talking over Maxwell Lewis, talking over Colin Castleton, talking even over potentially Max Christie. And I am incredibly high on Max Christie. I am higher on Max Christie than most people. I hype Max Christie up like he is, Paul George 2.0, right? Like, I just really think Max Christie is going to be, at worst, like a KCP level player, where he's just excellent, on-ball defender, knock down the 3, playoff ball, all that stuff. It's kind of what I look at Max Christie, with the potential to be even better, right? Better playmaker, better just shot creator for himself. Again, potential. Not saying he'll get there. Not saying that. Armel Traore could be like our OG. I mean, talk about a guy 6'9" in size, can play essentially 3 through 5, can defend 1 through 5, has shown the ability to stretch the floor and knock down the 3 ball, right? He's already shown all the flashes that you want to see of a guy that may be a real player in this league, right? Again, obviously, a lot of growth, a lot of potential, but you got to develop him. But he's young enough to where you can spend 3 to 4 years developing him, and now he's 23, and now you can bring him on, and he can take a year or two to kind of get his legs under him, and he's still only 24, 25, right? Like, see the difference? That 2-3 years is a big difference, right? So I don't think you can get rid of Armel Traore. I don't want to see Blake Hinson go because, again, he's kind of a need. And so now you're going to have 2 centers on your 2-way. You're on top of that going to have Jackson Hayes, Christian Wood. So now you're looking at 4 guys that can play center, although Christian Wood could play the 4 full-time if you need him to. Okay, fine. So let's remove Christian Wood. You still have 2 two-way centers. You still have Christian Wood and Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis, yes, has said that he doesn't want to play center full-time, but he's still going to play center. They're not going to, like, now just go the extreme other way. I mean, even in 2020, Anthony Davis still played center. So, right, like, so you're talking, like, you have like 5 centers now, and then on top of that, you're going to go and hopefully still trade for a center, because I don't think that any of the centers we have solve the issue, which is like, hey, we need a real veteran center, a real impact center that can start alongside AD or come off the bench. Unless Koloko just ends up becoming that double-double guy, which, again, I don't want to put a cap on the guy, but I also don't want to have unrealistic expectations, right? This is a guy that hasn't played in the last year and a half. I'd love for him to come in and be that guy, but there's no, like, I mean, he wasn't even that for Toronto, right? Like, so I think you let go of Colin Caston, which sucks, because I want to see what he can do. I want to see if he can sink or swim. But if you're higher on Koloko, which I understand, right? He's a shot-blocking, rebounding, high-energy, high-motor center, right? He's a guy that, in theory, makes perfect sense alongside Anthony Davis, right? And when Anthony Davis is on the bench, you're not getting torched, which Jackson Hayes isn't the shot blocker, and neither is Colin Castleton, right? So, again, I get the idea. I get the logic. I'm on board for it. It's just, I don't want to see them end up trading Blake Hinson or not trading, but waiving Blake Hinson or waiving especially Armel Traore, who also, speaking of, his brother is probably going to be the 2nd pick in this upcoming draft, right? Like, I don't want to see them go down that road. I want to see them develop these guys. If you want to bring in another center, figure it out, right? It doesn't mean you go give up 2 seconds to just unload, Cam Reddish or something like that. I still don't think Koloko's worth that. But can you make some other move? Can you do something where you can keep the young guys that make sense for now in the future, or get rid of Colin Caston and swap one center for the other? If you believe that Koloko makes more sense for now in the future, do that. Then get rid of him. It sucks, but I think that's the route you go. Anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Who do you think the Lakers should waive on a potential 2-way? Do you think it should be, do you agree that, like, yeah, it should be Colin Castleton? Do you think, no, get rid of Blake Hinson? Like, all he does is shoot threes. You need guys that could do more, which, again, a lot of guys have made careers just shooting threes. And the Lakers, that's kind of been one of their biggest needs, is a guy that could just light it up from 3, like a real true sharpshooter. Lakers haven't really had that, right? And the guys that we have had, like Malik Beasley, just forgot how to shoot, right? So it'd be nice to get a guy that looks like he's comfortable being a Laker. And then, of course, Armel Traore, I just think you can't teach 6'9", versatile forward center. Like, you just can't teach that, right? Develop that guy. I'd rather get rid of Maxwell Lewis. And I was a guy that, was talking about Maxwell Lewis being the 17th pick over Jalen Hood-Schifino, when I was doing my predictions and stuff like that, or what I wanted to see in the draft. Right? I did a whole video breakdown of Maxwell Lewis, and I still like Maxwell Lewis's potential, but I like Armel Traore much more. He's just bigger, stronger, maybe more versatile, or should be in theory. So, again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I would love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.